Years ago, Christians would ask other Christians to give their testimonies, meaning tell us the story of how you got saved. Of course, the more dramatic the conversion, the more often they were asked to tell people about it. Somehow, a person who had done more evil things than the average person before coming to the Lord was viewed as more spiritual. In reality, their stories were simply more exciting and memorable, and therefore more marketable. The terminology of giving your testimony or testifying has fallen by the wayside as we've realized that the story of how we got saved is only the first of many stories that we can tell about how God has worked in our lives. We seem to have shifted the focus from stories about a person who experienced a dramatic conversion to stories about how God changed people's lives, and that's a good thing. Now people want to hear stories about real people with a genuine faith and what God is doing for them. We no longer want to hear fantastic, dramatic, newsworthy stories because they seem like fairy tales to us. We want to be able to connect with people just like us and relate to their stories. We hope that if God has done something for them, He'll do something for us as well. That's why your story is so important. What is your story? Many Christian musicians believe they do not have a story, and that's simply not true. When Christians say that, what they really mean is that they didn't have a dramatic conversion, nor have they experienced a major trauma in their lives. So they don't have a dramatic, exciting story. But think about it. How many people do you know personally who can relate to either of those types of stories? The vast majority of people in this world are just normal, everyday, average people with normal, everyday, average issues in life. Wouldn't it be great if they could hear stories about how God has helped other people with those same kinds of issues? We'll probably never see a headline saying something like, "Average guy overcomes average problem." But maybe we should. Think of all the ministry opportunities found in that headline. How would people respond to a headline of, "God uses an average guy to help another average guy"? They just might realize that since they're kind of an average guy, maybe God could use them too. Or what about a headline that reads, "God did not magically change my circumstances, and I'm so glad He didn't"? People would probably want to hear about that. What has God done in your life? What is He doing now? That's your story. The point is we all have a story. Some stories may be more dramatic, but the more simple stories from real people with common problems often have a greater ministry potential. Your story will change over time, and that's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. It's great, because it shows that God did not only do one thing for you and then leave. You can change and update your story as you go along. From a marketing standpoint, this is incredible. You have an unlimited source of new material. From a faith standpoint, this proves God is alive and working in people's lives today. How does your story help you define your band's mission? Remember that people like to hear stories from real people just like them. People want to hear about how these real people have dealt with issues similar to theirs. Look at your story and try to determine who would best relate to it. Then look at your bandmates' stories and do the same. Every band member's story is going to be different, but you'll probably start to recognize overlapping groups of people who would want to hear the different stories. These overlapping groups are probably going to be your band's target audience. Often bands will find a common thread interweaving their stories. For example, someone in the band may have overcome drug addiction. Another band member may have had to watch a family member struggle through rehab, while a third band member may have had to be a caregiver to someone who had lost a close friend to a drug overdose. The common thread would be how drugs affect many people's lives. Obviously, this example is probably more dramatic and easier to spot than what most bands will experience. But look closely. God often calls people together who have different stories that make up one primary message. Just as every person's story is different, every band's message and ministry will be different. When we match up our stories and our message to people who want to hear them, we've taken another step closer to creating an extraordinary music ministry. One of the best tools we have developed for you at Christian Band Help is the Christian Band Handbook. This resource book covers topics such as defining your ministry's mission, how to find the right band members, choosing and protecting your band's name, copyrights, press kits and booking, music marketing, how to make the most of your ministry dollars, and a whole lot more. We know what it's like to be a Christian musician. Between us, my husband Mark and I have over 60 years of experience in almost every aspect of music ministry. I wrote this book so you can learn from our experience. We want to help you launch your band on the journey to impact the world around you while avoiding the pitfalls along the way. The Christian Band Handbook is available as a paperback or ebook on Amazon and most ebook retailers. For more information, go to christianbandhelp.com, click on Store on the navigation bar, and then click on Christian Band Handbook. Or you can click on the link directly below this video.